Good morning. Welcome to Saturday morning meditation. So the first thing that we do whenever we sit down to meditate is establish our motivation. And we start by generating compassion for all sentient beings. So we can consider that all sentient beings are suffering just like us. And just like us, all sentient beings want to be happy. And considering that, we can just take a moment to generate compassion for all beings. And then we'll say the opening prayers. We'll say the 7-line prayer 3 times. Organ yogi num jansam pemage sardom pola yatsin chogi ngorubne pemma jung ne jesura Ordu kandro mangpo kor ketki jesu dak drupki jinji lop chia sheksu so guru pema city home. Organ yogi num jansam pemage sardom pola yatsin chogi ngorubne Pemma jung ne jesura Ordu kandro mangpo kor Ketki jesu yak drupki Jinji lop chia sheksu so Guru pema city home. Organ yogi num jansam Pemage sardom pola Yatsin chogi ngorubne Pemma jung ne jesurak Kordu kandro mangpo kor Ketki jesu dak drupki Jinji lop chia sheksu so Guru Pema city home. All right, so in this class, we'll be practicing 3 types of meditation today. And each of these meditations are a little bit different, but they all work together to calm our minds and open our hearts. So the first meditation that we'll be doing is called Shamatha, or calm abiding meditation. Jetsunma has taught that meditation is the natural state of mind when it is relaxed, stable, and open. But that's not how our minds usually are. Our minds are usually kind of like running around crazy like monkeys, and they're untamed and wild, and cause us a lot of trouble because they're always getting up to stuff and digging into our unpleasant emotions and making up stories about the world and causing us a lot of anxiety and stress. And when our minds are all agitated like that, they control us rather than the other way around. But through meditation, we can flip that around and we can take control of our own minds. And through meditation, we can train our mind to be calm and relaxed while also being alert and wakeful. And I wanted to share just this quote by Chomtrul Rinpoche. And he says that it is the Tibetan word gom that is translated into English as meditation. But what does gom actually mean? It means to habituate our mind with something that is positive. So, a mind that was stressed, that lacked concentration and clarity, that experienced greed, jealousy, hatred, anger, and so on, can instead be calm, clear, and focused, and filled with compassion, love, patience, generosity, and so on. Also, it is through meditation that our mind is woken up from its unawareness of reality, liberating ourselves from samsara and becoming a Buddha for the benefit of all. Everybody has the potential to change. Anybody who doubts this has yet to meditate. So, this is a very simple practice. All we do is we rest our attention on the breath. So, you can also do this meditation with your focus on a flower or a candle or an image of the Buddha. But for today, our focus will be our breath. So, take a comfortable seat. You can do this meditation sitting in a chair or sitting cross-legged on the floor. And place your hands in your lap, gently relaxed. Traditionally, we hold one hand in the other with the thumbs touching and place the hands with the thumbs just below the navel. But you can also just rest your hands in your lap. And check in with your posture. Your spine is straight like a stack of coins. Your shoulders are back. Your elbows are out a little bit away from your body, so you have room around your rib cage to breathe. And your eyes remain open, looking downwards. You can imagine a line following the bridge of your nose and extending down to the floor, and find a point along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And then place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's like saying the letter L. And allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. Just settle into your natural rhythm of breathing. And then put a very light attention on your breath. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe naturally with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it or try to change it in any way. Just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. We'll meditate for just a couple minutes for our first round. As you meditate, thoughts will come up, and that's okay. When thoughts come up, just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. Don't even look to see what they are. Just let them pop. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So as soon as you notice yourself following a thought, just drop it and return to your breath. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. All right, so that's our first round of meditation. And we'll try doing that for a little bit longer now. If you're first starting to meditate, it's really good to do very, very short sessions like that. You can even start with 30 seconds at a time. But it's really good to make it easy for yourself and just give yourself bite off just the amount that you can handle. Don't bite off more than you can chew. It takes time to get used to meditating. So we'll try that now for a little bit longer. And if you're having difficulty dismissing your thoughts, you could imagine using tongs to pick up the thought and drop them, or you could visualize cutting the thoughts with scissors and throwing them away, or tapping them with a magic wand and they go poof, whatever. If it's helpful for you to use a visualization technique like that to dismiss your thoughts, you can do that. But then as soon as you dismiss the thoughts, you return again and again to that gossamer thin attention on your breath. Whatever's going through our heads, it's okay. It's okay if you're thinking some really ego-driven thought about, someday you'll be on Oprah. It could be fine if you're thinking some, terrible thought about, I don't know, eating your kid's toes with barbecue sauce. You might come up with the weirdest things and during meditation. It's so weird. And it's all fine. It's all okay. You just let it go and you come back to the breath. So we are going to meditate for a little bit longer. Straight back, relaxed body. Eyes are open, looking downwards. Tongue just behind the front teeth. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. So even just doing that meditation for a few minutes really makes such a difference for our minds. And it's like it's like when you're in a creek, if you're in a stream or a creek and you stir up all the water and then the dirt gets all stirred up and the water is all cloudy and you can't see through it. And that's how our minds are all of the time, with all of our stuff all stirred up. And all we do all day is stir it up and splash the water. Everything we do, we're like, let's just engage in anger and greed and jealousy and splash that water up, get it all stirred up. When we meditate, we finally just let it, sift out. We finally let the water settle and the dirt starts to settle. And then the water gets clearer. And you can start to see your natural qualities of wisdom and compassion shine through when the water clears. And it takes time. Even just, if you're sitting for a few minutes, you might feel like the entire time your mind's still stirred up and you're still acting all crazy in your head. But it's because since time out of mind, you've been stirring up that water and then you're only resting your mind for a couple minutes. So it settles a little bit, but you've got a ways to go because you spent a lot of time stirring up all that water. So it takes time, but even just letting the water settle for just a couple minutes, it makes such a difference and allows us to just start practicing a different habit and become familiarized with our minds, maybe being in a different way. So now that we have a little bit more space and stability in our minds, we're going to turn our attention to our hearts. And this next practice we'll do is called Tonglen, or the practice of giving and receiving. And in this practice, we imagine taking the suffering of others into ourselves and sending them our happiness. And doing this practice helps us to gradually cease cherishing ourselves over others. And over time, we'll develop a stronger wish to benefit other beings, which eventually leads to the ability to help all beings with equanimity. And when we have that ability, we will be very, we will have the power to give other beings happiness and relieve them of suffering in a real, tangible way. So sitting in meditation posture, we're going to begin by thinking one or two beings for whom you easily feel compassion. Someone whose suffering particularly touches you. And this could be your parents, a sibling, your kids, your pets, a coworker, someone you've seen on the news, anyone for whom you easily feel compassion. Think of who that person could be. Then contemplate their misery and put yourself in their place, imagining what their experience must be like, and giving rise to compassion. And cultivate in your heart the fervent wish to relieve their suffering and secure their happiness. Then we bring our attention to our breath, following the natural rhythm of your breath. As you breathe in, visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. And imagine that they become completely free of misery. And as you breathe out, visualize that you are sending and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. So you might think as you breathe in, may you be free of suffering. And as you breathe out, may you be happy. May you be free of suffering, breathing in all their suffering as black smoke. And as you breathe out, may you be happy, sending them positive, loving qualities, enduring happiness as pure light. So we'll just do that for a couple minutes. Okay, we're going to repeat this again. This time, visualize one or two people for whom you feel intense anger or aversion. Who is someone for whom you feel intense anger or aversion? This could be someone you know or someone on the news. Could be could be a coworker you're always in disagreement with. Could be someone who you just never want to pick up the phone when they call. Could be someone you really, really hate. Who's that person? Thinking of that person, contemplate their situation, put yourself in their shoes, generate compassion for them. What is their experience like? And cultivate the desire to help them, to relieve them of their suffering, the desire to bring them happiness. Cultivate that desire to help them. And then bring your attention to your breath. And visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke, and they become completely free of misery. And breathing out, you send them and they receive all of your positive, loving qualities, all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. And now expand your visualization to include all those for whom you have similar feelings of anger or aversion. Same way. We're going to think of this larger group of people for whom we have extreme anger and aversion, and breathe in their suffering, and breathing out, send them happiness. So if you're doing this practice, this Tonglen practice on your own, you can keep going with that for as long as you want. You can continually, gradually increase the scope of your visualization to include larger and larger groups of people until your loving kindness and compassion embrace all beings throughout existence. And same with the earlier Shamatha meditation as well. If you have the time, you can always do these meditations for longer than we do them here. So our last meditation is a guided meditation written by Jetsunma Lamo called the Light Expansion Prayer. And to share this from Jetsunma. So Jetsunma said that separation is the cause of all trauma, all pain, any grief that you have ever suffered anywhere or at any time. Anything that has ever hurt you or been a bother to you has been because you believe yourself to be separate from everything. Your true nature is absolute union or oneness. The true nature that you are is light. So in this practice, we will be counteracting that sense of separation by imitating the radiance of our true nature. So come into your meditation posture. Let us become still. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Again. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute, and there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. All right, so now at the end of our meditation, we always close with dedication prayers so that whatever virtue that we have accomplished, we give it all away for the benefit of all beings. So we'll say these prayers. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I have accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. All right, well, thank you so much. Thank you.